Windmill Crusaders presents Raptor Hill Games, a podcast about prehistoria in board games.
Theropods were bipedal, beast-footed dinosaurs and the largest predators to ever walk the earth. Apex Theropod is one of my personal favorite tabletop games. Certainly one of my favorite dinosaur ones. For reasons we will see, I will get excited because and I've even got a little history, and I might even do an entire video on the history of this game because it's actually a little bit interesting. I am Tyler Lukow, a paleontology student and game designer.
I'm Thomas Lukow. I am a dinosaur enthusiast and a game designer.
And this is Raptor Hill. So, the game we have in front of us is Apex Theropod Deck Building Game. Before we even get into the how to play the game, we want to establish what exactly happened with the game. It was placed on Kickstarter in 2014 by Herschel Hoffmeyer, who created his game company Die Hard Games. This was the only game they ever published. He initially created it as a school assignment, as an artist major, and he is a good artist, as we will very much gush about in a bit.
Oh, yes.
He created the game, playtested it, created the art all by himself. Well, not playtested it by himself. He did get a lot of friends to help him playtest it, but the creation of the mechanics and the art was all him. He put up the Kickstarter all himself, ran it, and everything. He later had a Kickstarter in 2015 to create a second edition of the game to fix some problems from the first, along with create a bunch of new expansions, of which included the Megalodon expansion, Stomping Grounds, an update for the Exotic Predators expansion from the first edition, the Stomping Dead, Suchomimus, what he calls the Promethean Wars, Saurophaganax, and Therizinosaurus. However, this campaign, he ran out of money. I don't know why exactly. It's something I will do research for if I do a full history video, but I believe he simply was not very good at calculating how much he would need, as it is a large game, a bit expensive, lots of components to it, and he went bankrupt and was unable to fulfill all the orders to his Kickstarter supporters. But that is not the end. Even though many people still sold the game that they had gotten online, and the game was not published anymore. Die Hard Games LLC was dead, and a lot of people were suggesting fixes to some problems we'll mention later in the podcast video, however you're listening to it. It was still not over yet. In around 2018, the company Outland Entertainment, a publishing company for books, bought the rights for the game. They started publishing and printing more copies and published a new Kickstarter in August 2020, as well as fulfilled the backing of all the previous Kickstarters, so everyone who had backed the game eventually did get it, as Outland Entertainment fixed Herschel Hoffmeyer's mistakes and problems. He was now officially working for them as well as an artist, and they did a Kickstarter for the completed edition in August of 2020, which is what we have in front of us, fixed some more problems from the second edition, which we will explain, and then they did another Kickstarter, a fourth Kickstarter, not for this game, but instead for a book, an anthology book of short stories, all based on dinosaurs, using the Apex logo and branding. And in this campaign, they also introduced a tabletop RPG, Apex Astounding Thrills, and other marvelous pulp stories.
That one will get its day, but
its own video, podcast episode, its own episode.
But point is, Outland Games, MVP here.
Yes.
Giga
They did a great job at fixing all the problems and making the game alive again. Nothing has really happened with the game since. They've been selling it and publishing it, nothing new there. But we have it, it's alive, and I love the collected edition. I own both the second edition and collected edition.
Indeed.
So, the first edition had a number of problems, not the least of which, from what I've heard, as I do not own the first edition, was confusing rules. That was fixed in the second edition for the most part, with a few things being confused.
Was it?
Confusing.
Okay, yeah.
It was much more confusing in the first edition. I've seen reviews and talked to people who had both. The collected edition, I don't know if you've actually read the rules on the collected edition.
No, I haven't. I only ever played in the you've told me a little bit about this edition.
The collected edition...
Frankly, I'm out of my depth here.
The collected edition fixed a lot of the problems from the second edition's rules, along with new card backs, some new art, and new way of playing. The game is primarily designed to be a one-player experience, and most will agree that that is where the game absolutely shines. You have bosses, which includes dinosaurs such as Rexinator, Deinonychus, Spinosaurus, T-Rex, Carcharodontosaurus, Tyrannotitan, Titanoceratops, Tarbosaurus, Mapusaurus, Titanoboa, Allosaurus, Velociraptor, Livititan, Utahraptor, and Hatzegopteryx. A good variety of bosses there, with many other dinosaurs you encounter throughout the game. Good variety, lots of interesting stuff. We'll get to the science in a bit. And a number of dinosaurs you can play as.
But
you choose between Acrocanthosaurus, Carnotaurus, Giganotosaurus, Suchomimus, Orphaganax, Tyrannosaurus, Velociraptor, Megalodon, Spinosaurus, Therizinosaurus, Utahraptor, Sarcosuchus, Quetzalcoatlus, and Promethean Wars, many of which were expansions in the previous versions, but come as part of the collected edition.
Tyler, we haven't explained the game yet.
Yes, I know. I'm explaining who you can play as. So, first you choose one of those dinosaurs. You get a deck entirely for that dinosaur species. And we will explain a little more of the deck later, because it is super cool, some stuff they do with the theming. You then have your deck built out of a few minor cards, some eggs, some carcasses, and other stuff. You draw, you play your carcasses into your playing field. Each player has their own little play mat in front of them, which has the ambush point. It's honestly a bit of a complex and super deep game.
A little.
Look, it's amazing, and I love the game, and it's okay. Yes. Anyway,
it is a very complex and gritty
so
game.
you start with your deck. You have a few cards that you add into your deck, and some of it varies if you're playing multiplayer versus single player. But you have a few cards that you start in your draw pile. Some of them that everyone gets, such as the eggs and carcasses. Some of them that are unique for your thing, including the hatchlings and juvenile being different. That goes to your draw pile, whereas the rest goes to your apex deck section that you can add to your deck later. This game is what we call a deck building game, and a good one at that, as it has a lot of depth and complexity to it. You draw your cards, you play them in your playing field to be able to hunt dinosaurs from the hunting section in the middle board that everyone can see and has access to. When you hunt a dinosaur, you add it to your horde, which you can use to put in your den to get new cards to add to your deck, either from your hatchery or from the evolution section of the middle board.
Yeah, pretty much the carcasses, the dinosaurs you hunt, they basically just act as wells of points that you can spend on things.
The dinosaurs you hunt are both your challenges and your resources. And then the evolve deck and hatchery, which is where you get new cards for your deck as you craft your deck and build your strategy.
Mm-hmm.
You can set cards aside in your ambush point face down to save it for later, in a way, as the game is played over a number of rounds, at the end of which you discard and draw back up. And you can use cards from your ambush to do stronger, more powerful hunting. Some cards give benefits to using the ambush as well, while some have other forms of strategies. The game will try to eliminate your cards. It will also try to... Well, the game tries really hard to be hard, and I haven't won all that many when I was playing with the full rules.
Mm-hmm.
It is, in fact, hard. The second edition of the game came with a first player marker in the form of a really awesome T-Rex miniature, but due to the way that it was built, it's a little fragile at times, and the collected edition uses a cool little coin instead for the first player marker.
Which I can only imagine was also cheaper.
Yes.
I would be willing to bet.
So, throughout the game, you reveal cards in the hunt deck as you hunt more. Each round you hunt the 4 cards in the hunt deck, or leave them there if you can't hunt them. Some of them may hurt you when you hunt them, some of them may hurt you when you don't hunt them. So you have a few different types in the hunt deck. The big game, big powerful dinosaurs that are worth a lot of points. The prey, fairly simple smaller dinosaurs, not as many points. Menaces, which are not always worth as many points, but they are something you want to get rid of, as they will consistently be a problem. Titans, the really massive dinosaurs that are hard to hunt simply because of how big they are. And the predators, even worse than the menaces, who are not just trying to cause you problems, but trying to kill you. And then you can draw the minions, which vary by your boss, and the bosses, who you will have multiple chances to face throughout the game. You also have the Stomping Dead expansion, which lets you face zombie dinosaurs, and that has its own set of rules. A lot of stuff to this game, like I said. You also will have the Environment deck, a number of cards which, should you choose to vary the difficulty of the game, will start with Emergence, and it will end with the Asteroid Impact and Extinction.
Now, can you remind me, that's an event deck, basically. Is that present in the multiplayer?
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone
so that's going to
gets
be relevant
impacted
later.
You get something like 12 total cards in the event deck, and when the event deck runs out, the game ends. Your first 3 cards, or 2, or 1, or if you want to go really hard, are the emergence cards, which don't do anything to hurt you and actually benefit you. You're just hatching from your egg, and you're getting into the world, and then you run into predation, and tropical storms, and sandstorms, and up until extinction.
Okay.
Where the game ends, and you get one last chance at facing the boss before you die.
Okay, now are we pretty much at the point where we can talk about the game properly?
Affliction cards are added by various cards, including viruses, broken bones, flesh wounds.
Affliction
to bog up your deck.
Yeah, they're cards that have no effect, or maybe just a really adverse effect on top of not doing a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just there to make it harder for you to play.
If you draw a flesh wound, you can't draw what you want. Now, as far as the actual play further, you played a number of rounds, you hunt, then you try to evolve using the carcasses you get or pull from your hatchery. Then you cycle cards through so the game keeps on moving forward. And you start your next round.
Okay.
You continue until extinction, and you either win or lose against the boss. It is possible to end before if you can defeat the boss before the extinction, but that is a really difficult task ahead of you.
Almost as difficult as editing that down to a reasonable length.
Anyway, that's as best I can get it, while giving some good depth. The art.
Okay, so we're talking about the game here. We're starting with the art.
Herschel Hoffmeyer's greatest strength is absolutely the art of the game. The art is beautiful. It's amazing. The lighting, the dinosaurs present, the way he's drawn them or how it painted them or however certainly. He made this. It's just all beautiful and amazing, and you love it, and it's detailed, and it really feels real, and like there's dinosaurs there, and it so gets across the theme so well. And I'm sorry I said it's my favorite game, and I'm totally taking over the episode. Thomas, you talk.
Okay, before we get too excited, I am going to force you to talk accuracy on this one. I mean, the game acknowledges its priority is definitely not in accuracy.
It gives a thing that it says it's not meant to be educational. And the dinosaurs within this have a mix of accurate and not accurate. The art was his priority, and we can see some examples of that. We have my Therizinosaurus deck right here. Therizinosaurus is primarily feathered. It's got the huge claws. It does have broken wrists that it should not have on most of this art.
Also, I think the claws are maybe a little too big.
This is true. The fingers on a lot of them are a little too big, and the claws a little too big. My favorite piece of art here, though, is the Nemesis art on the Therizinosaurus. It shows a Therizinosaurus killing a T-Rex by stabbing it through the head. Not super accurate. Likely the claws are not meant for breaking or stabbing. If they were to be used in fighting, it'd be slashing.
I hope they're not meant for breaking. Goodness.
Yeah. If they were to be used to stab, it would likely break.
One of the few solid paleontological facts I know about Therizinosaurus is that the claws are very contentious, and nobody has a good answer for what they were used for. Supposedly, recent studies have shown that they wouldn't have been useful for a lot of the things smaller Therizinosaurs would use their claws for, because they were just too big, too big, and they might break if you try to use those for that. I'm not really sure what to think about that whole deal myself, and I'm going to wait till I see more research, but
largely the belief seems to be that the claws would have been used for slashing if for combat at all, often more like a sloth. Other art, you'll find some inconsistency. All the art looks amazing, it's just not always consistent between cards. The Spinosaurus, for example, my brother has.
Yeah, so they draw several... Okay, I want to mention a lot of the inconsistencies aren't necessarily saying, oh yeah, these two are the same animal, but they are in terms of, like, say...
Yes, you play more as a group or a species of dinosaurs rather than one individual.
I mean, if we look at the difference between the veteran, which is one of your alpha cards, or any of the alphas really.
Every player has hatchlings, juveniles, veterans, and is it champion?
Alpha, I think.
Alpha.
Because
adults, and you have Yeah, it's hatchling, juvenile, adult, veteran.
Point is, like, you can tell that they are vastly different animals from the other cards. But that lets him explore a lot of different avenues, including some more accurate question mark in the case of Spinosaurus, because, oh, if you're versed in the discourse about Spinosaurus, there's a lot of questions, and it's even more contentious than Therizinosaurus.
Big debate about whether or not it was aquatic. Studies right now indicate they may have lived in water and eaten fish, but not been fully aquatic and only swam occasionally, and was often more like a pelican, or not pelican, stork grabbing fish from the shore.
Yeah.
Either way, this game came out during the height of the Spinosaurus's aquatic phase, and as such depicts it that for the most part, as well as uses that in the mechanics to an interesting effect.
I want to point out some really cool things here. Like, we have the Brute card, which is almost exactly Jurassic Park 3's Spinosaurus.
Oh, yes.
Down to the cloudy eyes.
And many of these Spinosaurus cards have a difference in the sail. The sail shape is more round versus some have the U shape the up, U, back, up, down shape that we see on depictions now.
I want to contrast that to the Lurker, which has it sitting in a bog or a lake or something.
Head just above the water like a crocodile.
But it's got the kangaroo pose from older dinosaurs.
Likely that would be
probably a reference to the very oldest Spinosaurus depictions.
Yes. Whereas some raptors are feathered, some of their Velociraptor cards are unfeathered, some of the Tyrannosaurs are feathered, and a great variation in accuracy of the art. Regardless of accuracy, the art all looks seriously amazing. It's honestly so awesome. I love the art so much.
Yeah. But because of this, we get, all the typical problems with paleo art. Wrong proportions, shrink wrapping, and just generally some infeasibility here and there with a lot of things.
All the problems and all the accuracy as well. It's basically whatever he wanted it to look like.
But it
all looks amazing still.
If you're a fan of dinosaurs as awesome bringers of destruction, this game will please you.
Oh yes, for sure. The mechanics of the hunting, the playing your cards, the ambush, it all works so well to build the theme of dinosaur. You feel like you're an ancient, powerful dinosaur, but you're struggling and fighting to survive and hunt and eat. And it's so...
Contain the calamity, Tyler.
There is no containing the calamity!
I want to mention...
You really do feel like you're a dinosaur struggling to survive and hunt, though.
And on a related note, I do want to mention a point of flavor that I really like, because I love mechanical flavor, looking at the way that the stuff kind of tells a story or gives a certain feel. Each of the dinosaurs has a certain theming in what you call them. Like here, looking at
the names and how the abilities work.
Yeah, here looking at the Spinosaurus, for example, we have the Brute, the Lurker, the Reviver, the Tempest for one of the more powerful ones, the Emperor and Empress, Interceptor, River Monster. They have a feel to it.
The clearest, most example is the Acrocanthosaurus, where you have Disciple, Zealot, Nocturnal Hunter, Redeemer, Huntress, Templars, Tactician, Prophet, Omen. It's got a strong sort of Harbinger, Reckoner. It's got a strong sort of religious order feel for it. And
I know.
They have a different theme for each of the dinosaurs, and it honestly is awesome.
Yeah, and this is something I haven't seen elsewhere as of yet. I'm sure that something else has done something like this.
And each dinosaur has its own play strategy. It's also labeled each one between easy, moderate, hard, or brutal to play as. And some of the bosses are a lot harder and easier than others, with the hardest being the Stomping Dead, which changes the game entirely. having zombies hunting others and making it so you can't hunt anything. These zombies that you can hunt but aren't worth any points, and they're removing your prey from the game. And
now,
it's a very interesting deck.
Okay, I do want to talk about one of the major downsides of this game, and that is that, speaking as somebody who has been trying to read these rule books and stuff, it is a bit confusing, even with the vast improvements that I'm told the game has had.
I have to clarify, for the most part, the first edition was a lot confusing. Second edition was much more clear. Goes through things in a clear, well put together way, has quick setup guide on the back, as well as an appendix. Explanations seem fairly clear in the second edition, until you get to the multiplayer ending. In the second edition, the ending of multiplayer had you trying to face off against each other in a rather unsatisfying and disappointing way. And it was rather confusing as to how that worked as well, with many players online suggesting various other forms of the multiplayer ending because of how that one was. Solo player, it was amazing. The only confusion for the most part in second edition's rules, aside from the multiplayer ending, is simply the fact that it's so big and complicated.
There's so many things.
It does a really good job of explaining it, in my opinion. The collected edition we have here.
I want to clarify. I'm not bashing on them for writing unclear rules, because no, they do a good job. There's just so much. It's so easy to lose track of things and accidentally play wrong.
Which is why there is a guide for player or turn order and do this, then this, then this, then this. You have to follow that, or else it will get confusing. That is for sure. If you're not following a this, then this, then this, it will be confusing.
Yeah. Kind of like some of the more technical Magic the Gathering games that I've played, where all of the weird, obscure things come into... Anyways.
The collected edition does have a different version of ending for the multiplayer, a version specifically created by some of the fans of the game, that has the players facing off against bosses rather than each other, though it does have a means for facing off against each other as well. Haven't gotten to playing that as much because the solo play is the easiest one to do. It is a longer game to play. You will need at least an hour, maybe probably closer to 2, or if you're in a multiplayer, maybe even 3.
Or 4.
As it takes some time to set up and play. But it is so complex in depth and the art. Anyway.
Yeah. So, I think we've talked about enough things that we can probably give it our rating. You think?
Yes. Yeah. Let's hear your rating.
Okay. So my rating for this game is definitely going to be lower than yours, and I'm sorry for that. So my rating, I'm going to put it at a 2. It's like, maybe my opinion will change when I manage to play more of it, but I just had a lot of trouble playing this myself. And also, I haven't had a chance to play the multiplayer, so I'm going to give it an optimistic...
You played the multiplayer once. Against me.
Did I?
That's why you're choosing the 2. It's because you lost.
I don't remember this.
You lost.
Okay.
You were playing Acrocant, or maybe it was the Giganotosaurus, one of those two, and I was playing Therizinosaurus, and you lost. I think the hard part there, though, was, again, we were playing second edition, and the rules for multiplayer ending were confusing.
And it's not like this is a bad game by any means. It's just that I don't enjoy it as much as you do.
We really got to get you to play it again. I think you would change your mind.
I intend... Well, obviously, the game... The people watching this will know because the gameplay will be in front of them, and we are both playing this game.
Well, unless I'm playing it with Simone in the gameplay.
Well, that's true.
Because we'll have to see what we can do for camera stuff. Anyway, as for my rating, 5 out of 5 easy. It's so the theming of dinosaurs is just so amazing, where you feel like this really tops almost every single thing, in my opinion, of how to make an amazing dinosaur game. We have a different video that's a panel, video, audio. We have a panel that we did at a Salt Lake City FanX that we're going to be putting into this at some point. And it's our discussion of how do you create a good dinosaur game, both video games and tabletop games. And this hits almost every single point.
You know what?
It feels like dinosaurs. It feels awesome and hard and powerful. It feels ancient. The art is absolutely amazing. It's got some accurate stuff, and the
Yeah, he has a lot to gush about. I actually think I will append, or like, or I will rescind my 2 and make it a 3 based on just, it does all of those things, and you make very good points on that. But it is very group dependent if you're playing multiplayer. I know that at least one of my game groups would probably not enjoy this game very much because of the sheer complexity of it. And that is my number 1 gripe.
It's not a game you can easily bring to a game night. Most people, when there's a game night, they expect something fast, fun stuff. They don't expect something long. So it's hard to get a group to play the game with, but that is why the solo play is amazing. The solo play is absolutely the game's strong suit. It's amazing, and it is so fun. And 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 5. It's a 10 out of 5 for me. Okay? I don't care.
Contain the calamity. But in terms of just general, like, should you bring this to your game night, I am going to give it a 2. It's okay. It's not something you should bring to every game night.
It's a game night game if your game nights are usually closer to Warhammer.
But if your
Warhammer group is if it's a Warhammer group, then they'll accept this as a lighter play.
Yeah, this is true.
It's lighter and easier than Warhammer, takes less time, and it's not a big long campaign thing. Sure, it takes multiple hours to play, and so there's not as many groups willing to accept that, but it is so amazing.
Alright. Well, I think that just about wraps up our thoughts on this game.
I think this is a longer episode. Oh, no, only 30 minutes. Cool.
Wait, we've only been recording for 30 minutes?
Yeah, it's only 29:21.
How? That felt like forever.
Because I spent so long talking about it. Let's start going through card by card and critiquing the accuracy.
No.
First, Iguanodon from the big
we're done.
Wait, one more.
Done.
Okay, no, wait. I have one more thing to say about this that is not going through like that. Okay? If we look at the cards, it does have some educational value. It has amazing art, of course, but then it also has the specific species. So this is Iguanodon bernissartensis. It has the location, Europe, and the time period it lived, 125 million years. Again, you're facing off with dinosaurs that didn't live at the same time as each other, but it acknowledges that, and it tells you when it did live, the time period. Ankylosaurus magniventris, North America, 66 million years ago.
Okay.
And that is a cool little paleontology thing that we find within this game. That is another thing well worth another bonus on the game. It is not meant to be educational, but it does have some value towards that.
Okay.
The box. I love the box. All the components here are really well designed. They feel high quality. They are high quality, even before the art. They feel high quality. In the box itself, it has foam inserts. It's got the potential for expansions. Not likely at this point. Outland Entertainment doesn't seem like they're interested in more expansions. It's already the collected edition, but it has foam inserts you could remove if they have more expansions.
I mean, fan expansions could be a thing.
But with our foam inserts, the cards all fit into the box really well without a ton of jostling. There is also room, if you wanted, to sleeve all your cards and protect them.
I think that's all more the intent.
There is so many cards here that it would be a ton of sleeves, but you could sleeve all of them, and there's still room in the box. In addition, you have another foam insert, and you can perfectly place your playmats into it and have them side by side, and it fits so perfectly, and it's really satisfying, honestly. You place your board on top, your rules, and the game just fits together really well in this box. There's fairly similar with the second edition box as well. Has the foam inserts for the design. It is longer but less wide for the second edition.
It's more awkwardly sized, I'd say.
The collected edition is the best box out of them all, but I think the box was well designed on second edition as well. Don't have first edition to judge that.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, which box is the best of all? Alright, are we done? Are we actually done?
Yes, we can be actually done.
Okay.
Apex Theropod, 100 out of 5.
Oh, hush.
For more information on the Raptor Hills podcast or Windmill Crusaders, please see our website in the description or show notes below. Thank you for listening.